All right, here's a great tip for overhead pressing strength. Now, if you've had a hard time basically stabilizing yourself during overhead presses, it's probably because you've never learned exactly how to basically retract and depress the shoulder blades as you're doing the exercise. Now, you may be familiar with the bench press cue of put your scapula in your back pockets, which is basically to retract and get those shoulder blades tucked in behind you. Now, overhead press is very similar in that respect, and there is a cue that's going to help you train that essentially and learn that. So if you're normally doing overhead presses and your shoulders are all loose and you're not locking down, then locking down your lats more specifically, that's going to be an issue when you're overhead pressing. You're going to compromise the stabilization of the shoulder girdle. Now, key to this one is you're going to do a very short, basically pull-up. It's very short and it's not heavily loaded. So start with just an empty bar, set in the power rack here. You will need a power rack for this one. Potentially the Smith machine is going to work just fine as well. So set this to, you can see on here, it's right about even with my shoulder height. You want it to have about an inch of room, a wiggle room basically from your upper chest to where the bar is going to be starting. So take your shoulder width on the shoulder press grip right here. For me, I use my fourth fingers on the rings. Now you can see there's a little bit of room here from the actual full bottom to where this bar is sitting. What you want to do here, grip on the bar like you normally would. Then coming up on your toes a little bit, you're going to do the start of basically a pull-up. So engage the lats, pull those shoulder blades in behind you, come up on your toes to assist. Hold that contraction, set everything in your back, and then press. Again, repeat that. We want to really drill this in to your nervous system and train that movement. So you're basically retracting, getting those shoulder blades back, and you're depressing the shoulder blades, which is lower traps for anchoring, which is also lower lats. So that's digging in like that, stabilizing the shoulder blades, and then pressing up. Now, obviously when you're doing the actual press, your shoulder blades will move more freely, but that base when you're starting, if you don't have your shoulders locked in, it's a lot more loose and a lot more unstable. So, the saying is you can't fire a cannon from a canoe. This is what we're trying to do with shoulder press. So rather than having loose shoulders, and this is easier to learn when you're standing, you can also do it seated in the rack as well, is the start of every rep, come up on your toes, do that very short pull-up movement so you're basically getting that top inch, and then set, and then power up. That cue right there is going to make a huge difference in your overhead pressing strength. Your stability is going to be a game changer for you with overhead press. Then it's just a matter of carrying that over to doing presses not in the rack, doing presses with your dumbbells. So it will be a little more challenging, but you'll kind of learn as you're doing it. When you get to that bottom position, hold the bar here, squeeze, get those scapula retracted and depressed, and then press up. So like I said, this is going to be a game changer for you. Give this one a shot. Train this in the rack first, get an idea of how it works, and then bring it into the real world.